So I think we can kind of see a pretty clear picture on the SPY now in terms of the range. And here was the high volatility for a couple of weeks and the low volatility last week. Very compressed intraday. So just looking at this morning, one thing I noticed on the range was we didn't spend much time below, let's say, the bottom half of it. When we started to come down, we would dip into it, close above, dip into it again, close above. Then we bottomed the next day, but very quickly we were back above 284 and basically spent most of the time closing above 284. If we zoom in onto Friday's action, we had that 284 to 284.50 as a spot to short. We did close below there. Had a decent pop off of this 282. Closed basically right in the middle of the range. This morning we went a little bit below 283, a little bit above 283. So still not showing any signs of volatility expansion. But I want to keep an eye on this. Can we retake 284 and basically close back above it? If we do that, then I'll start to think that we're just going to work our way right back up to the top of the range. So if we spend today, tomorrow closing below here, then I'll start to think more about how I want to play a retest of the recent low and potentially set up for a break of the recent low. The more time you spend consolidating towards one part of a range, you then break through the range, you get a pretty good move. So, but right now, so far, only one day closing down in this bottom half. So that's where we are in that. IWM still in its downtrend. First resistance just above 151 here. Second resistance at 152, which lines up with the downtrend from 160. A change in this one would basically be, first of all, it gets above this resistance where it's coming into right now into the open, but a close in this area here, let's call it above 152.5. A couple closes up here, a move break to the upside, you can see a pretty strong move back up to 156, 157. Burdens on the buyers to show that this trend can break and then hold. All right, so not a lot of great stuff today. The first one, Plan, which I'm not even sure if I've traded it before. It's a software stock. The thing that caught my attention about it was it's in this sector where these stocks have been so strong, but we have seen really hard down moves off of these gap ups to new highs. SPLK just got obliterated after the quick pop on the open Friday, came off $20 or something. And this is like a mini version of it. So if you kind of look at it where it's been on the daily, see, so it started the year here at 24, it ran up to 40. It's been consolidating. It actually, after this gap up here on earnings, I guess it did have the gap fill and held. And it is gapping right now into the high. So this has been, let's see what this gap was here. This was February. So it's 3 months. So your earnings to earnings. So something like this, what this would look like if it's gonna have one of these dropouts, is it's either gonna have a quick pop to new highs above this 41.50, and then you're gonna see it below 41.50, below 40, and you will get a move back into this kind of support, and you'll kind of see from the support from the last couple of weeks. So I'm just trying to zoom in so you can kind of see what it looks like. So It ran up here from, what is this, on February 25th. I guess that was earnings. And went from 32.5 to 40. Let's just, SPLK actually had the hard dropout last quarter. 140 to 120. Shot up to one, I guess, what was it on the open yesterday? $130 to 116, I guess. That was 14 points. It was 2.5 ATR mood dropout. This would be like 42 to 38 would be the equivalent of that, 48, 38, 37, which actually lines up pretty well with the support from the last couple of weeks, 37.5. I have that on the sheet. I'm going to have that on the sheet. Now, it's very possible it can just drop out on the open. It'll hold this 40 prior resistance here from the last few weeks. 40 holds it and ends up being real strong today. But we want to look for that quick pop on the open. Drops out below 41.50. What does it do when it comes into 40? Does it actually support there for more than a few minutes? You know, a lot of times you'll get the drop to 40. It'll pop back up to 40.50, 40.70. Drops 40 then, and then boom, you get your move into that support there. What it would look like on the flip side is what I said, either a quick dropout to close to 40, they're buying there, or not even much of a dropout where it just holds above this prior high here, 41.25, 41.50 area as well. So either way, I think the easier trade will probably be on the short side if that sets up. Momo. So Momo is a very beaten down name. They crushed EPS, they crushed revenue. It's a China name, so obviously China's been crushed recently as well, last week or so. If we go to the low, it rallied from the low 20s all the way back up to 40. It's in a pretty good downtrend. It made a couple attempts, made this attempt here after this gap down. It actually filled the gap, then got hit again. Basically, we want to see how it reacts at 28. And this move through there strongly, then hold. The upside is all the way back to here. And put 29 and 30 on the sheet. It's done a couple 100,000 shares. It's about 5% of its daily volume. After the initial reaction on the really good numbers, there was some selling at 27.50. Came in, they're buying it at 27 at 8 o'clock when the institutions come in. So I have 27 by 27.20 as S1, S2. And so my expectation would be, if it's going to be strong today, worst case, it would drop here, and then it would very quickly work its way back up to the 28 area and then march through there, or just break through 28 right on the open. So if it's holding above 28, either way, you want to be long it. GPN, they're buying this TSS. So let's go to the 30-minute. First of all, I mean, obviously it's up a ton this year. I mean, it's up a ton. It did sell off from 125 to 100 into the beginning of the year, but it took this high out and went up another 20% from there, and it's a 50% rally. So when you see these situations where kind of the market probably would like the merger, just makes these companies stronger. I don't know what the legality risk is on this one. I didn't see any blurbs yet. but some analysts might come out during the day and talk about there being some antitrust risk, and that could cause it to move intraday. But as of right now, what we had was rumors of the merger Friday, and people bought on that. So everybody who bought on Friday, they're out of the money. And unless it very quickly retakes 150 on the open, you're going to have some of those people selling potentially, and that could create some downward pressure into recent support areas. So 147, 44. It's already bounced up a few dollars. Again, we've got really light volume, so we don't know. I don't think I'm not worried about the merger arb guys putting on this trade short and getting long the other ones. The spread's too narrow, but we'll see on the open if it widens out a little bit. So 44, 43, 44 is like if they really crushed it today. If there was some sell pressure on the open, it would be like 46-ish. Yeah, I see where I got 45 from. It was accumulated at 45 for like a few days and tried to break and failed. Came back up, held 45. But yeah, a quick drop out on the open to like 46.5 or lower. That would catch my attention for some bids to come in. A quick pop on the open to, I have 150 on there? I do have 150. Quick pop to like 150, a little bit above there. That catches my attention. And also, I think 151.5 to 152, I think there's a pretty good chance you can be short there against the lows from Friday. Let's say 146 by 150 is kind of my starting point. We'll go from there, see how it acts. Normally trades $1 million, traded $5 million Friday, so it should do at least $5 million today. And then Activision got an upgrade from Goldman. I'm going to play this with options. So this is a beaten down name. They added it to their conviction buy list. I think they raised the target a few dollars. We know that this got killed all the way back. We traded it here when it sold off from 60 to 55. Kept on going. Been based for a while, but it can't get back above 50. And so, the way to play this is really anything below 44 on the open. Probably look to like sell some 42 puts and buy some, I would even say some 47, like 47, 48, something like that. But sell some puts, buy some calls, and that's how I'd play it. Or just buy the calls outright. So got to see when the earnings are coming out on that one. Yeah, they probably already reported. Yeah, they probably should have reported like here or something. Yeah, maybe it was this day here. But they've already reported, so there shouldn't be any issues with selling puts on this one. Yeah. So that's that. And then on the second day in technicals, I want to say on Foot Locker, so we had like the downgrades in terms of price targets today. I've talked about this a bunch of times. So the downgraded targets are like in the 60s. So it's well above where it's trading now. It's actually like some of them, it's 30 to 50% above the targets. So you have the opportunity for it to kind of bounce today. It put in its low on the open at 43. Then there was some accumulation at 44, I guess, for a couple hours. Tried to break down a couple times, but the buyers went out into the close. As long as it's above 43.90, I would actually be long some of it. And then, looking for the bounce, if it got, let's say, retook 45, or we even went to 45, held there for a little bit and broke to the upside. And I'd look for just to play it back up to kind of where the down move started from the pre-market on Friday, 47 to 48. Maybe not today gets there. Maybe what's today? Maybe tomorrow. Um, I don't think I'd be shorting it unless I saw it like come up to 45 and they really just sold a ton of it. It just really failed there and started to hold below 43.50 or something like that. So 47 would kind of be my upside target on a bounce on this one. SPLK, which I already referenced. You know, it did have a decent bounce into the close. I think back to, I think 120 was maybe like our S2 or something like that. So it trended, it tried to break the down. And this actually looked like it was going to bounce here, right? It had the big green, pulled back, made the higher low, was tight. But instead of breaking to the upside from 118, it actually broke to the downside. It's a decent reversal. It would have been a little bit tough to trade. Came back up, failed here again. They did start buying it at 117.5 and then broke to the upside. Went up a couple of dollars. So not exactly the greatest move, but it did end up going up $4 off the low. Today, you know, does it hold a little bit higher, 118, 118.50, then start to hold above 120? It's the burden is definitely on the buyers to show that that it can kind of break this downtrend that's formed here. Here's the bigger picture. If it gets sold, it gets hit again on the open. Let's see if it makes a higher low, like 117, 117.50, where it kind of supported here way back at the beginning of the year and then went up to 140. HIB, guess was very strong. We were looking to basically see if it could hold above, you know, this. It did. It actually went up, failed at 25, came back in and held there. So this is, the buyers are in control on this one. That's it. Let me take a look at Tesla. So Tesla had the big bounce on Thursday from like 182 in the pre-market to like 200. They bought it at 192. It gapped up to 200 on Friday. And I guess by 11 o'clock, it was below 192 and never could reclaim it. So to me, you know, 192 and then 196, 195, 196 resistance. Obviously, the low from Friday, if that gets taken out, you're looking at a flush into 185, 186, something like that, where it supported Friday morning on the down move here. So the easiest trade will be if it basically gets above 192 on the open and holds above there for like 20, 30 minutes and doesn't really move much, and then kind of breaks to the upside. It's very high likelihood they would push it into 96, and then you would kind of see what happens from there. In terms on the downside, if it takes out the low from Friday, as I said, move to 185, 186, probably like has some sort of bounce from there, maybe comes back into 188, and if it can't retake 188, not good. So that is that. As always, be patient and good luck.